How you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Today's part 2 to King Size Annual Star Wars number 1, 1979. Remember, this was between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. So let's get to volume, chapter, whatever, the next chapter. I'm jumping ahead. A Duel with the Eagles, a Duel of Eagles. So here we have a second splash page, which I think is a pretty cool splash page. We got Leia and Luke with the sexy, hunky bird people. I guess the women are green, the men are blue. That's cool. All right, so what are the... A lot of text. I am Deverin. I speak for the Council. You have violated security space. You have come to your world uninvited, bearing weapons and with the stench of battle about you. We also came with friends. Where are they? What have you done with our droids? Do not raise your voice to me, young male. Your lives, though thin, hang by a thin thread as it is. Your friends, they are here, and unlike you, they are unharmed for the moment. And like you, they are unharmed. So here the droids. Master Luke, oh, thank the Maker. It is so good to see you. Pretty good drawings of R2D2, C3PO. Definitely using a reference. Just like this, you could see they're using models. I thought, this is classic. I like, they're being held in some kind of state. I'm going to see if they're, on second thought, maybe I'll just stay right where I am. I could definitely see Luke saying that in the movies. So, they're talking about, I don't know. I mean, I consider myself a Star Wars fan, but I don't know if there was any pods. I didn't see Luke. I mean, Han said, the Empire said that the escape pods were not jettisoned, right? When they were taken in on the Death Star. So maybe they do have. Okay, so now he's thinking, I should have stayed with Luke. Han, and now they're imprisoned. It's an eloquent appeal, Princess Leia Organa of Alderaan. But this Imperial warrant speaks just as eloquently, does it not? We are leader of the Rebel Alliance. You crashed because the Imperial forces stationed in the system attacked in performance of the duty. I see. What else will you do? You are enemies of the Imperium. The Windborn are sworn to serve our duty. Requires that we surrender you immediately to the Imperial Legate. That's it then. We're as good as dead. Young male, is this weapon yours? Yes. I would know your name. Luke Skywalker. By the Wind! I thought that name looked familiar. Is he the one? His name is the same as our wingless blood brothers. So they met a Skywalker. Keep that in mind. He's so young and virtually alone. The Magistrix is powerful with an enemy at her back. With an army at her back. If he's the one, then we owe him a debt that can never be repaid. I will put forward the final test, one of honor. Then we will decide. So they don't speak the language. Your starship was attacked as it neared our world. We destroyed after we abandoned her. Not so. The vessel is captured and taken intact to the Magistrix fortress. Intact, that means Han and Chewbacca could still be alive. We don't know that for sure. Don't you care if there's a slightest chance we've got to rescue them? Luke, you're crazy. We're going to break into an Imperial stronghold, take on Lord knows how many stormtroopers to save 2 people who are already dead? Yes. Then I must be crazy too. Because I'm going with you. Praise the sacred winds. He is the one. As the prophecy foretold. That's such a trope. The chosen one, the prophecy. That's why I was so resistant to Harry Potter, because of all the talk of the Frozen one, and then the Chosen One, and then I finally read it, and I have to say, Harry Potter, the books are wonderful. They're absolutely wonderful. So, I take back everything I said about, and I'll talk about Harry Potter at some point, but we're talking about Star Wars. So, here's Chewie. That furry misanthrope makes too much noise, Captain. It disturbs me. Silence the beast without harming it, or you will take its place. Chewie, shut up. You bother the nice lady. As gallant as ever, Han Solo. It's been a long time since last we parted. Not long enough. As ever, your mouth keeps getting you into trouble. That's the point of being nice, Karis. You're going to kill me anyway, of course, but there are myriad ways to die, Solo. Some would make my smoke demon quite pleasant by comparison. So she said the smoke demon. You and your fellow Corellians provided me a rare hunt, Solo, but now the hunt is over. Before I take your life forever. Okay, so to me, what are they to you? I was more important the boy who destroyed the Death Star. What do you call Luke? What are they to you? To me, nothing. The Dark Lord of the Sith, whom I served, perhaps everything. So she's an apprentice, a Jedi, or Sith Lord, or Force sensitive. They don't know, because the lore wasn't really solid yet. So here we got this torture droid coming out. I like the way the stormtroopers are drawn. And here come the bird people. And I even like the touch that she's given a green bird suit and he's got a blue, so they blend in and they're attacking. Who cares about the dialogue? This is just standard. Their rating is ROM. I already did a showcase on ROM. A rather good comic, despite the fact that it was based on a toy IP. Whoop whoop. So here he is, fine. And like I said, if you watch the original trilogy, Leia never misses. So here, running in, fighting. Here comes Luke. And, I can't seem to, this comic doesn't want to coordinate. Here we have a dead guy just hanging from the chains, pretty gory. Here comes Leia. I wonder how deep inside the mountain I am. Wait, what's that muffled cry? Everybody freeze. Han, he's hooked up to an Imperial interrogator, just as I was. The Matrix is trying to psychoprobe him. Who dares? And that's another thing. She resisted a psychoprobe. Otherwise, they would have gotten all the information from her. They never really brought it up, but Leia withstood torture. So, yeah, a lot of people are bemoaning, like, oh, Leia can't be Force sensitive. Why not? She's Luke's twin, made by the same guy under the same circumstances. So I'll buy that she was Force sensitive. It's just that Luke, and Yoda even said there is another. I dare, Leia Organa. Yeah, tell him your name. Release Han Solo and Chewbacca now, and no false moves, unless you want these wings. Unless those wings can outfly my blaster. So sees her, and the Cathuman. That's Cathuman. So the Cathuman attack two of them. I lost my rifle. If she wants to call that a rifle, then that's her own business, I guess. Hitting her in the shoulder, and it's attacking her, and she still has her blaster. No, Bach is going to grab her, and she fires right in the belly, These other guys are like, oh, what's going on? And here comes Chewbacca. So Chewbacca just murders this guy. Just murder Chewbacca. Go on, murder beast. Shoulder. My shoulder slash is messy, but I don't think it's serious. Hey, beautiful, remember me? Han. So freeing Han. Getting the band back together. Running away. Here comes Luke, still flying around. I thought he lost his wings, but what do I know? He dropped his wings. I guess he could put them back on. The area is gutted, ruined by the one wingless boy. I cursed the day I allied myself with those armored idiots. Scores of them are dead while the youth remains untouched. Well, that's stormtroopers for you. Star Wars stormtroopers versus Star Trek red shirts. Who would win? Oh, look, she's got shurikens. The force is in him. Reminds me of the Great Way of the Prophecy. Can he be the one? So she's throwing shurikens at him. Yow, throwing stars. Barely dodged them. But who? I'll tell you who. It was one of these people. It was either Susan Anton. It was either Scott Baio, James McNichol, Kathy Bauman, Robbie Benson, Tattoo, who doesn't have the courtesy of having a real name, Dirk Benedict, Starbuck. It was the people from Ice Castles, Scott Baio again. So two choices, Farrah Fawcett or Whiskers. Oh, or just plain old Kitten. I'm saying it was Tattoo. Tattoo threw him. Let's see if I was right. I was wrong. It was her. So, Karis. So he's pulling out the lightsaber. She's got a red one, because everybody's got a lightsaber in Star Wars, right? What good is being in Star Wars? If you're going to be playing a Star Wars role-playing game and you don't have a lightsaber, are you really playing? So here they're fighting. She's good. Fight. Hit full rise on my anti-gravity belt. It'll take her full reach to get me. So she's chasing them. Dogfight in the air. No more fancy moves. My head is still pretty much... I can't afford to split my concentration. Grimly, almost desperately, Luke focuses all by the dark. He's trying to shake off my psychic attack. He wants only thing to move. He tries, he fails. With the battle cry of our ancient aviate race, Karis drives for the kill. But at the last instant, possibly the attack... At the last instant, impossibly, the attack is checked. So, I love the way they're leaving out the gore. I mean, this would just slice her in half, but they're making it look like that, I guess, for make it Kitty safe. Her saber glances off Luke's, and before her startled mind is even aware of what happened, the matriarch is dead. Yeah. So she drops to her death. And here's where I want to talk about. We are no longer bound by our oath, thanks to Skywalker. If any Imperials come seeking vengeance for their slain comrades, they will find the Windborn waiting for them. I've heard of your people refer to Luke as the One. One what? What do they mean by that? Years ago, okay, here, let's pull out. Years ago, my friend, during what you humans called the Clone Wars, 3 Jedi Knights saved Sky from destruction. One was Obi-Wan Kenobi, the others, his pupils. In gratitude, we swore eternal friendship and fealty to them. Much later, one of the pupils returned and told us that Obi-Wan and the Jedi were destroyed by his hand. Then he invoked our oath and made Sky an imperial satrapy to be ruled in his name. He gave Karis, to be whom he gave a portion of his knowledge and powers. That man was Darth Vader. Obi-Wan's other pupil, who was he? Young one, you wear a saber. Luke, is anything the matter? So they're saying that Obi-Wan, Anakin Skywalker, and Darth Vader all went here. So the writers of this comic obviously didn't know, because Vader is supposed to be Anakin, right? Anakin is Vader. But at one point, Obi-Wan took his 2 pupils there. So this just shows you, at this point in Star Wars history, nobody knew. And I really don't think Luke Skywalker. I don't think George Lucas knew, and I evidence that is the Leia and Luke kissing, and she's beautiful. You know what I mean? It's. I don't think Lucas knew, and from what I've read, and I've read a lot about Star Wars. Keep in mind, Star Wars came out like when I was 9 years old, so I was like right in the middle of it all. I lived, eat, and breathed Star Wars for like 10 years of my life. I got my hands on anything Star Wars that I could find, and according to the stuff that I read, the original Star Wars movie was supposed to be it ending with them blowing up a Star Destroyer, and then Return of the Jedi was them blowing up the Death Star. But the studio was like, no, have them blow up the Death Star because, we're not gonna make it till then. So it was Lucas didn't know what to do with it. He didn't know where to go. And then in the second story, I am your father. And then in the third movie, Leia's your sister. I think all that was made up as they went. I don't think he made a grand overarching story. He just made up one movie at a time, kind of the way comic books are written, really. Just built up one story at a time. So this is the official Star Wars property by Marvel Comics, and they're writing that Luke's father and Darth Vader were 2 separate people who showed up at the same time. So this is what we thought. And then within the year, this comic is the information is rendered wrong. So I don't know. This would be the kind of thing you write to Marvel and get a no prize about. Try to fix that error in continuity. But here are some other. George, these were at Star Trek Weeklies. I didn't get these. These were for England. In England, I think they would take the comics and break them into 22 pages. I think these were like 11 pages each. So each comic was they already came out. They've already been out in America for like 2 years at this point, because the Star Wars comic actually, believe it or not, came out before the Star Wars movie, and that's why there was a lot of gaps. Like Darth Vader was colored green for a little while, things like that, because they were made from production stills. So these were covers for England because they would take the original comic and split it into 2, so they needed to make extra covers. So this is like the only place I've seen these covers, because I don't get English comics. They're pretty cool. The Creature from Beneath the Sea, Vanquished, Darth Vader beating up Luke. Here we go. The Guardians of the Galaxy Tales. Oh, so there's other stories in the back. Okay. And that's that. And Lego. So there you go. That's part 2 of this Star Wars. I love this comic. I thought it was a fun comic. It was a good space adventure, and to me, this was like important Star Wars stuff because, you know, the Star Wars lore wasn't written yet. It didn't come out yet. And then the movies came out, and within the Star Wars comics, they had to tell the story of Empire Strikes Back. So they had to like all of a sudden insert the real Star Wars movie stories into the comics, even though the comics, you know, were veering over here. Then all of a sudden they had to, you know, the comic books were going this way, and then all of a sudden they had to make a hard right to go that way to be in line with the movies. So there was always a little bit of awkwardness whenever the movies came out. And to be honest, I lost interest in Star. I think I had the first like 110 issues, and then I lost interest, and I read them because unless you're reading the movie adaptations, it was just generic space fantasy, and the Lucasfilms had a certain look. Like the Lucasfilms wouldn't have these cat human, you know, or these bird people. The Lucas had a unique look to its space aliens, had a unique look to its ships, you know. So the comic books and the movies never really gelled for me, but I still enjoyed them because I was a superhero and sci-fi kid. I mean, how could I not be sci-fi with Star Wars going around? Like I said, I wasn't really a fantasy until I started playing Dungeons and Dragons, and then I got into like Elric of Melniboné and stuff like that. I got into more like high fantasy than like the magicless fantasy of Conan. I mean, Conan had magic, but like he didn't really have like magic demons and gods and stuff like that, like the Elric of Melniboné did. So I guess I got into the fantastic fantasy rather than the realistic fantasy of Conan. Conan, except for a few things, could have been set in the real world. But I'm digressing. So I love this. This was a lot of fun for me. This not only, I mean, it's just nostalgic. It brings me back to go to my grandpa's house, and my grandmother used to make dupatini. It was like little tiny ziti. They may be like maybe a little bit less than a centimeter tubes, and she used to call it dupadata. And whenever I think of this comic, I think of my grandmother's sauce and dupadata and meatballs. And then my grandfather had a stone pit in the backyard that he used to grill steaks back there. Oh man, you know, to go back there one more time. And he was way upstate. This was before cable, so he barely had a reception on the TV. So it's like he only got like NBC and CBS. So there was nothing to do up there. We played cards, and we read. So during the day, you ran around doing whatever, you know, outside adventure stuff you could think of, and then at night you played cards or you read comic books, you know, or read books, and that was that. You know, that was a lot of fun. Missed those days, and I was brought upstate, read upstate, and enjoyed upstate, and then I read a million times after that. So, and that's what this channel is for me. You know, nostalgic for old times kind of thing. So, hope you enjoyed it too. Thanks a lot. I had to break it into it. I wasn't going to go 40 minutes on one comic. And thanks a lot. See you around, and I hope you enjoyed this. Please share my videos. I haven't got a new sub in a little while. Maybe I should change things up. You know, I don't want to say boomer because I'm not a boomer, but I don't know how to promote other than I do Instagram. I do. I don't even do Instagram. I do Twitter, and I do Facebook. So there you go. All right. Thanks a lot. Hope you enjoy, and thank you for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. Bye bye.